our prime purpose today is to voice our concern for the future of the planet and to lay bare some of the factors that are making this increasingly gloomy. But I can't let this opportunity pass without thanking everybody in the anti-fracking brigade. Should I say the anti-fracking circus? who have got us to the point where we are. Where we are, our cowboy Third Energy has fallen off his horse.
Yes!
But I can't come to PNR and not express heartfelt thanks that we all feel to the three heroes, Richard and Simon. For their example and courage in facing up to what was so obviously wrongly imposed upon them. Now it's over 2 weeks since the IPCC issued its report on the stark choices that are now facing us. We have a window of 12 years to prevent runaway climate change. We've been warned of this many times. 2 years ago, Mark Wilson, the head of Aviva, warned that we had to abandon all subsidies for fossil fuels by 2020 or face the mother of all catastrophes. And his job, what he earns his corn doing, is estimating risk. Now at the other end of the spectrum, we have the Minister for Energy and Clean Growth. When I was taking the dog out the other day, a limerick popped into my mind. Now, I would recommend dog walking for all aspiring poets. There is an MP for Devizes, whose comments may cause some surprises. But she's made a faux pas by backing frack gas, because the planet will meet its demises. Now we see from her a continual outpouring of the usual justifications for fracking, that are both untrue and downright dangerous. She talks of unstable regimes supplying us with gas. Who are they?
Yes.
On her recommendation to a member in Parliament, I read the Duke's report. Russia is not supplying us with gas. Perhaps the unstable regimes are Norway and Belgium. Perhaps it's Qatar. Why don't you tell that to all the businessmen who do more than £9 billion worth of trade with Qatar?
Yeah, exactly.
She pleads to us in a whinging sort of a way. If we can trust the science of climate change, why can't we trust the science of shale gas extraction? Claire, we do. And that is why we oppose it. Professor James Hansen could not be clearer. He has written to Claire Perry and amongst other things has said, resign! Apart from that, he has said, so Trump ignores science. Full throttle ahead with the worst fossil fuels. The science is crystal clear. We need to phase out fossil fuels, starting with the most damaging, the unconventional fossil fuels such as tar sands and fracking. Now Claire Perry admits to never having visited a fracking site. But don't worry. Do not worry.
Accidental heckle.
She has consulted with the industry and interested people. Now, if I'd consulted with Alan Lynn or Jim Ratcliffe in Yorkshire, or Francis Egan in Lancashire, I might favour fracking.
Yeah, exactly.
Who are these interested parties? She's not consulted me.
Sorry, no, that's what they are.
She's not consulted you. She's not consulted the 9 billion other people on this planet whose very lives are at risk by climate change. Or does she think that the interested parties are just those who have a financial interest?
Yes. Some amazing speakers today. Such articulate people, humorous.
In recent times, in a
We're so
recent
blessed.
Times article, Claire Perry divulged that she
That's
was
our
proud to be
drone up
called
there.
a VDW. Apparently revelling in Kenneth Clark's reference to Margaret Thatcher as a bloody difficult woman.
Oh,
In Perry's case, I could put other words in the D. Dim or dishonest are the ones that immediately spring to mind. I don't need to explain to you why we should be stopping the exploitation of fossil fuels. We know that methane is a more potent greenhouse gas than CO2. We know that the recommendations from the Committee on Climate Change are not achievable. Let me just remind you of them, or some of them. Production of UK shale gas must displace imports. If we start producing more gas, are we going to say to Norway, sorry, but you've got to cut your production because we're producing more for ourselves? Of course we're not. It's just going to add to the general glut of gas which now floods the world. Gas, wherever it comes from, is not a low carbon option unless combined with carbon capture. Where are we going to put all the carbon that's captured unless it's down exploratory fracking wells? It is estimated that emissions must be strictly limited. It is estimated that 3.5% of gas produced is lost through leakages. This problem has not been solved before fracking is already starting in its exploratory stage. We know that government-sponsored reports have pointed out time and time again that we do not need frack gas for energy security. We know that when we go home to cook our children's tea, now this seems to be a particular obsession of Claire Perry.
he should be on the stage.
That there are alternatives to gas readily available. A drive to wean the nation off gas for cooking must surely be one of the easiest things that can be done to reduce consumption. I know, because along with thousands of other people in Rydell, we don't have gas. And I eat my tea every night.
Oh no, battery.
Something that I do find particularly alarming, and again this is an argument put forward by Ms Perry, and I quote, "We are a species of incredible adaptation and resilience that has survived ice ages." Surely, our ingenuity should be used to stop global warming happening, not deal with it when it arrives.
Yes. The stream's only going to hold for a minute longer. I'm going to have to go and get a battery pack.
I've got news for you, Miss Perry. The next challenge will not be an ice age. Let me take you back 120,000 years. It was an interglacial period known as the Eemian that actually lasted for about 15,000 years. And at that time, Yorkshire and presumably Lancashire was home to animals more associated with warmer climates, such as elephants, rhinos, tigers, hyenas, etc. Now, during this period, the average temperatures were 1 to 2 degrees higher than they are now. Those figures may seem familiar to you. But what is really frightening is sea levels were between 6 and 9 metres higher. Scandinavia was an island. Taking into account all of the factors, such as thermal expansion of the oceans, this could only have been caused by the melting of the polar ice caps. Few would doubt that the ice caps are already receding, but at what rate we're not sure. At that level, 6 or 9 metres, we know that many of the most popular areas of the planet would be submerged. Mass migration will be inevitable, and in a world of shrinking resources, life as we understand it would be unsustainable. Certainly the super rich, who are already securing their bolt holes. Note Mr. Ratcliffe has bought vast tracts of land in Iceland. These people will probably find that the infrastructure on which they rely no longer exists. My as yet unborn granddaughter will be 81 when this century ends. That will be well within the current projections on average lifespans. The world that she will live in will be a totally different one to our own, unless action is taken now. And that does not involve developing a whole new fossil fuel industry. Thank you.
Right. I'm going to have to take a quick break from this.